All right. This will probably be a little briefer than my other segments have been so far in this module. And this is really relevant for you guys for your PSA. So if you have already done your PSA, you might, sorry, but it's also in the reading that I gave you. So some evidence-based suggestions for a happier life. What can we do? And this is all going to come from actual research on happiness, satisfaction, things like that. So this is not just like Pollyanna kinds of ideas. This is what researchers have found have been associated with a happier life. So first off, take control of your time. This is one of my biggest challenges in life, is to make sure that I'm doing more of what I want or need to do, what I perceive to be valuable, and less of what other people want from me, right? Like, take control of your time. So learn to say no when you're being asked to do something that is outside of your skill set, your comfort level, your time availability. You shouldn't have to push yourself to make it comfortable for somebody else, right? Like, take control of your own time. Part of that also, though, is taking control of your time as far as, when I was a kid. I'm just going to tell you that, I'm going to tell you this because I want to brace you that what I'm going to say next is not a slant against our modern life. When I was a kid, they always pointed at TV as this time suck. That, once you start watching it, then next thing you know, you're watching one show after next, and you've lost the entire Saturday because you sat there in front of the boob tube, they called it, because it supposedly makes you dumber. And so this is not new. And I think I read something recently, and I don't know if it's true or not because I wasn't there, but they claim that when mass publication of books came along, that this was the same kind of concern, that you're just going to sit around with your nose in a book all the time and not really engage in your life. So, having warned you that I'm not trying to make any aspersions just about our modern life is full of things that can make us lose a lot of wasted time, right? I know for me, my daughter got me to sign up for Instagram so that she could send me memes that she thinks are funny. And then I discovered the reels on it. And then I can literally turn on a TV show that I want to see. I will, during the commercial break, pick up my phone because she messaged me something on Instagram. Then I saw what she said, and then that set off a bunch of reels. And then next thing you know, I'm not even watching the show that I deliberately turned on. I can't even devote appropriate time to the boob tube anymore because I'm busy scrolling reels on Instagram. What a nightmare. And you know what? I wish I watched less TV so I could get my nose into a book more frequently. So, doesn't a book seem more sophisticated than watching TV or scrolling Instagram now? But that's, I would like to throw that in as something that we need to take control of our time also. I mean, having a moment of boredom is probably better than being sucked into, 20 minutes of scrolling reels that you forget them immediately and it didn't really enhance your life, right? And didn't achieve a goal that you were trying to set or something like that. So we need to take control of our time. One of the things I am terrible at is remembering to mute my phone when I'm doing something else. And so I oftentimes get my notifications and they distract me and pull my attention. And so muting your phone, setting certain times when you say, I'm not going to look at it no matter what. It's hard. Yesterday I was going to mute my phone and my husband wasn't home. And I was going to mute it because I was going to do my exercise routine and I don't want to be interrupted, right? And so I was going to mute my phone, but he wasn't home. And I thought, well, I mean, what if he needs me for something? And that kind of logic is one of the things that makes us sort of a slave to it instead of it being a slave to us, So that's my lecture on taking control of your time. Another thing that research has shown is that if you act happy, it can make you feel happier. And we've already talked about this in this class, that if you hold a pencil in your mouth and don't let your lips touch it, you are in the facial expression of happiness. It will literally make you feel happier after you pull that pencil out of your mouth. It's, acting happy, fake it till you make it is another way of saying it, right? If you act like you're experiencing that emotion, you will start to feel more of it. It's not going to take you from, profound depression to joyful. It's not going to do that, but it might move you a tick, right? It might move you a little bit towards, more happiness. So if you act happy, one of the things that's good about acting happy is that the people around you typically will reward you for that behavior, and that fosters you doing it more often. You know, they'll smile at you, they'll encourage you, they'll talk to you, things like that. And that makes it more likely that you'll act happy in the future, which then will make you feel happier in the future, and it becomes a cycle. Seek work and leisure that engage your skills, like Mihaly says, right? You want to enter flow. You want to have something in your life that you get so engaged in that you literally don't notice that it's time to eat, or that it's starting to get dark out, or those kinds of things. If you can find something like that that works for you like that, you will be happier in the long run. I find like that I do that when I'm writing a paper. You know, like if I'm working on a manuscript, I will, when I get into a flow on it, I don't even notice that the sun has gone down. I'm just busy working. And or sometimes I find that with some of my craft projects, that I'll be so engaged with it that I don't realize how much time has passed. That's really what you want to have those moments. And so it's not always going to work. Like when I'm working on a manuscript and I'm at the point where I'm reading other people's papers and trying to figure out what's important and relevant to what I'm trying to do, it feels like work. It's, you know, when I'm editing my paper, it oftentimes feels like work. But when you're in the flow, when you're engaged, all of your skills are being used at their proper levels, where it's like, this is perfect. That's what you want to, and you're not going to hit it all the time, but you want to find those things that lead to flow and then pursue them, hoping that you're going to get flow again in the future. When you have the opportunity to, give a gift or invite somebody to do something, you want to buy shared experiences rather than things, because the things, yeah, they might be good, but I mean, honestly, you might have noticed as you get older, you know, Christmas is less fun in part because the stuff that you want, or the stuff that your gift receivers want, you can't afford it. They can't afford it. It's like, man, these are like aspirational things. Just give me money so I can go do something, is what a lot of times we say to people who are going to give us a gift. You know, it's like, you know, give me experiences rather than, I mean, the things I want are things I have to, you know, maybe work for years to get. And so think about that as a gift giver also. You know, instead of giving your mom something that she doesn't really want, give her one ticket to something you know she wants to do and say, I'm going with you, right? I got the other ticket and we have a day and a date and we're going, right? It's going to be more meaningful for both of you. That kind of shared experience will make you happier than anything will ever make you. I mean, you're happy for a second when you get your new phone, and then pretty soon you drop it, the screen's broken, and it's lost all of its fun. It's now just a phone. But the shared experience that bonds you, it causes you stronger relationships, and those are the things that lead to long-term happiness. Join the movement. You know, I've seen a lot of people on, again, my reels, and then also on regular TV saying that they finally realized that they can't out-exercise a bad diet. Like, this has suddenly become the new phrase, right? You can't out-exercise a bad diet. You can't exercise enough to offset like a candy bar. Like, it just doesn't work. But the movement isn't about trying to outrun your bad diet. The movement is about engaging in physical activity every day to get your blood flowing, to, keep your brain at peak awareness, to activate the general adaptation response so that you ultimately will have lower blood pressure, that you ultimately will have, healthier, blood sugar and all of those things. I thought I'd share with you one piece of evidence from that. This is a functional MRI where they're measuring actually it's a blood flow. So it's probably a PET scan. So what they're looking at on the left is somebody who's been sitting quietly for 20 minutes. And this is the amount of blood flow to different parts of their brain, and cooler colors mean less blood flow. So we have like the hottest color on the left is a little hint of yellow in amongst the green. After 20 minutes of just walking and not running, not briskly walking, just 20 minutes of moving, you see much more blood flow to those areas. Like, the more of the brain is active, for one thing. Now, there's no such thing as an inactive brain. I want to make sure I didn't just give that impression. Your brain is always firing and doing stuff. But what we're talking about is change above baseline. And so after 20 minutes of walking, your brain is more alert and aware and able to process information. You see more activity on the right frontal cortex after the walk than before the walk. And that's the part of your brain that really processes emotions and helps you to plan for the future and stuff like that. And so, yeah, you're going to be more engaged. You're probably going to be feeling more positive after even just 20 minutes of walking. No, it doesn't have to be a big thing. I'm not talking about this for weight loss or something like that. I'm talking about this for general mental health. Just 20 minutes of walking, 20 minutes of anything can boost your blood flow like that. Give your body the sleep it wants. This is kind of hard to say to college students because a lot of times, there are a lot of things that you want to squeeze into your day as a college student. It might be, going to class and working, and you have friendships, and maybe you're in a fraternity or sorority, and you have your family, and you have all these things that you want to do and all the things that you need to do. And a lot of times when we're overburdened, we take that extra time out of sleep. And that's really a bad policy because it not only can dampen your mood and make you less happy. It can, dampen your immune system, make you more vulnerable to illness and other kinds of things. So giving your body the sleep that it wants has an advantage to everything. Give priority to your close relationships. If people in your close circle are needing you, or you feel like you haven't seen them in a little while, that prioritize that ahead of somebody who maybe has asked you to do something extra that's not part of your normal schedule and that you're not obligated to do, and is coming from somebody who is not part of your close knit, group. Put your close relationships first, because those are the people who will help to support you through the challenging times, so that ultimately you can experience more happiness over the long term. Close relationships are going to boost happiness more than tangential relationships will. Focus beyond yourself. I've been talking to you about protecting your time and things like that. But if you have the time in your schedule and things like that, if you can come up with ways to contribute to the larger society, to donate time to some kind of charity, or actively contribute, not complain or say that somebody else should do something, but literally focus beyond yourself and think about, well, what could I do that would make somebody else's life better? Just something, and it can be small. It doesn't have, I'm not talking about, donating a week of vacation time to go, be a Doctors Without Borders. I'm talking about just little small things that you can do. Drag in your neighbor's trash cans when you're dragging in your own, like just little small things to build community. Just a little small example, during the pandemic in 2020, it was summertime, and my daughter was like, man, I'm so sick of sitting in this house and surrounded by all these neighbors. And what if we had like a neighborhood barbecue where everybody was like just in front of their own little houses? We could kind of yell at each other across the street to say hello and hi and whatever, and just kind of get to know each other and touch bases. And so she and the person across the street and the person kitty corner and 2 doors down, they all participated. And that little group of 4, by focusing beyond their own doors and windows, have now become like this little cadre of people who all touch bases, keep track of each other. I mean, they're much more cohesive and happier to be in that neighborhood than they were when everybody was hiding behind the walls and not really talking to each other. So she was new to the neighborhood. Who knows? Maybe these guys were all friends before she got there. I don't know. But count your blessings and record your gratitude. This is something that our own Phil Watkins here at Eastern Washington University has become very famous for, doing research on the benefits of gratitude. And one of the things that he found that really stuck with me is that people who were rated as higher on the Beck Depression Inventory, so they were not clinically depressed, they just were expressing more symptoms of depression, who engaged in a gratitude journal every day for a few weeks. Even 6 weeks later, after the study was over, even 6 weeks later, we're showing a boost in their mood compared to prior to recording. And one of the things he didn't know at the time that he was telling me about the study was whether those people had spontaneously continued doing gratitude journaling. He was planning a follow-up study, and I haven't asked him about that, to see whether they were spontaneously continuing the journaling after the study concluded. But the idea that thinking about how lucky you are and thinking about the things that you can be grateful for actually boosts your mood. That's important, and all of us should be doing that all the time. And then from the research that suggests that religiosity is important for happiness, it doesn't have to be formalized religion. You need to just nurture your spiritual self. And part of spirituality is figuring out what the purpose of life is, and finding a community maybe that shares similar ideas so that you have that network of support, which can foster happiness as well. So nurturing your spiritual self in any fashion that it presents itself is really important for lifetime happiness. All right. That wraps us up for happiness. Hopefully you found that enjoyable. We have one more module after this and then we'll be done. So I'll see you in the next module.